How many droplets of tears can this IEM make me shed listening to my music? Hello and thank you for clicking on this video where I'll be sharing my experience with the Moondrop Droplet. If you're new to this hobby and have not heard of Moondrop, they are a very popular company that has produced some of the most popular IEMs like the Kato, Blessing 2, Blessing 2 Dusk, Variations, and many others. So there's already a level of expectations going to this, but before we delve deeper, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Hi-Fi Go for providing this IEM in exchange for my honest feedback. And rest assured, they will have no influence on my video and all thoughts and opinions are my own. With that out of the way, let's talk about accessories. In the box itself, it comes with a carry pouch, a few foam tips, a dog tag if you're really into droplet, but at least it looks really nice, and of course, the IEMs themselves. The cable is fine. It has a plastic wrap around it and it fits the theme, and it has a USB-C termination with a built-in DSP to achieve their VDSF target, but ultimately I feel this IEM is targeted towards being a portable listening device for your phone, but specifically Android phones, especially with that USB-C connection. Sadly, this cable can't be replaced with any other alternative cables due to the fixed connectors. It also comes with a mic, and this is how it sounds, and as always, I'm recording this in advance so I won't know how it actually sounds until I edit, so I'll let you be the judge of the sound quality. But it has the typical buttons to increase or decrease the volume, and the middle button pauses or resumes the track. The design itself looks really nice, really sleek, keeping true to its name. It's small, it's simple, and straight to the point. I actually loved how this IEM looks. However, just like pretty heels on a lady's foot, it may look nice, but boy does it not translate well for fit and comfort. Let's talk about that. For me personally, I just can't get it to fit well in my ears. This to me sits as well as an earbud in my ear, which is to say it falls off pretty easily. I'm always constantly trying to push it in, and the only way I could get it to stay on is if I hook the cable around my ear, which helps in terms of tugging, but I still find myself adjusting the IEMs quite often, and it has sharp ends, so I wouldn't recommend you sleeping with them. Otherwise, the only thing you'll be experiencing are droplets of tears running down your eyes throughout the night. For ear tips, I'm personally never been a fan of foam tips, as from my personal experience, I'm sacrificing bass for comfort, and it's the same for the stock foam tips that this package comes with. So I'll be describing the sound using silicone tips with smaller holes at the ends, in which this case I'm using the SpinFit CP100 on a large. For connectivity issue, I do have to note that every time I plug the droplet into my phone, there's always this static sound which goes away after a few seconds, and while this doesn't seem to be a huge issue, I thought it's something to note since I don't get that with any other IEMs. For bass, despite being on silicone tips and what the graph is suggesting, I'm getting audibly punchy bass, which is to say you can hear it, but it sounds flat to me. It sounds like it's feeding you information about the bass, but you're not necessarily feeling it, unlike what you can get from a dynamic driver with good tuning, and I feel this is quite common in what you could expect from a single balanced armature driver in terms of dynamics. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of sub bass, so you do get a bit of rumble, but don't expect too much of it. For mid-range, I feel this is where the IEM shines best. Vocals are the highlight of the track, background music stay where they are, in the background, as an accompaniment rather than being in the same plane as the vocals. The bass does bleed ever so little to the mid-range, which gives it a bit more warmth overall, but not too much. For treble, unfortunately from my experience, there's some sharpness to the S and T's, and while it's not unbearable, it was definitely noticeable in my experience, and specifically for female vocals, and I believe the level of treble extension attributed to a little to that aspect as well, making the vocals sound clear and open, and it also helps in the sounds of trumpet as well. However, despite having some treble extension, I feel the tuning for the treble is not helping some of the instruments details come through, like snares, hi-hats. Doesn't sound as distinct as they could be. Audible, but not as pronounced. For separation, imaging, resolution, it's decent. For placement of sounds, the clarity of details, and the separation of sounds, decent. I mean, there's only so much a single balanced armature driver can do, and it shows its limitation here. As mentioned earlier, certain details sound a little soft and blended together with the background music, so while it's not bad, it's definitely not something I'll be raving about to people as well. On my ROG Phone 5S, I'm surprisingly either on 90% volume on max, depending on preference, which says a lot about this IEM, considering other IEMs I've used typically have about 10 to 20% volume to spare without needing or wanting to go to max volume. As for the sound, you can get a little bit more slam on your bass, but also makes the overall sound presentation a lot more forward by going to maximum volume. It also sounds quite shouty and the treble is sharp, so it sounds unnatural and unpleasant. So I'll stick with my description above, which is at 90% volume. So to sum it all up, I'm really baffled with this entry, and in this category there's already a few standout IEMs for me personally at $50 or even less that fits not only my sound preference but also my ears. The biggest setback for me would be the fit and comfort, followed by its tuning, which has a few quirks but nothing special, makes it harder for me to recommend this IEM despite me loving the brand, the company and its other products. Maybe it was the level of expectation coming in and I came out disappointed, so curb your expectations. Amazing design though, beautiful looking IEM, but it stops there. However, I'm curious to know your experience on this IEM. Is this comfortable for you? Did you enjoy the tuning? Comment below, let me know. And once again, thank you very much HiFiGo for providing this experience. And until the next experience, take care and happy listening.